Good afternoon, students. This is Reema, your biology educator for grade 11, and I welcome you all to V-Learning. So, V-Learning, as you know, that it's an online educational platform where we strive to provide quality education for all. So, to get all the benefits from our channel, do subscribe to our channel and visit to our website, that is www.v-learning.in, where you will be getting all the live classes, recorded videos and the PDF notes of all the chapters. So in our previous class we have started with a new chapter, right? What was that? It was your chapter number 5. It is all about your morphology of flowering plants, and you have learned about your root system and the shoot system, isn't it? So you remember that we have learned about the 3 types of roots. What are the 3 types of roots? First one is your taproot, fibrous root, and adventitious roots, right? So we also have learned about that why the roots they modify themselves. Like we have learned about prop roots, then we have learned about still roots, right? You have seen in case of this banyan tree, the prop roots, that is, they modify themselves in order to provide support to the plant, right? And also we have learned about stems, right? Now, what is exactly stem and which part of the plant from where the leaves arises, that is from the node. And also we have learned about the internodes, right? And we have seen that why the stem they modify themselves in case of various plants, like in case of watermelon, in case of peas. You have seen that the stems they modify themselves into tendrils, right? And there are some other plants, in case of cactus, they modify their leaves in order to perform the photosynthesis process, right? So we have learned all about the root system and the shoot system in our previous class. So what we are going to learn today? In today's class, we are going to learn about one part of the plant which is very, very much essential and very, very much essential to us also, all the heterotrophic organisms. As you know that the plants can prepare their own food, right? That plants are autotrophs, isn't it? They are autotrophic organisms. They have the capacity to prepare their own food. So which part of the plant is responsible for preparation of food? Like you have seen, there are various parts of plants, like your root, stem, right? Then leaves, isn't it? Then flowers. So which part is responsible? Every day in our day-to-day life, we require food, isn't it? So from where we get food? We get food from the plants and the animals. So plants and animals, they are our sources of food, right? Where do the plants prepare their food? In which portion of the plant they prepare the food? Yes, it is your leaves, isn't it? So in the leaves, the plants prepare their own food, and which is being transported to all the parts of the plants. And this is your what? This is your lecture number 2. So in today's class, we are going to learn in detail everything about the leaves, how the leaves function, how the leaves transfer the food from the leaves to the various parts of the plants. And also we are going to learn about the venation, phyllotaxy, and what is the function of this venation and phyllotaxy in plants, and how the leaves are arranged, right? And what is veins, everything we will be learning in today's session. So do listen to the class carefully. So let's begin with today's session. So first thing, what is leaf? What is exactly leaf? What is leaf? How can you define leaf? Leaf is nothing but what? Leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. So you have seen the plants have got various parts. So leaf is the lateral, okay? And it is generally flat. So it is the lateral portion. So you can see these are leaves, right? These are the leaves. Where the leaves are found? In the stem. And leaf arises from the nodes, okay? From the nodes. From a single node, the leaves are born. So it develops at the node and bears the bud in its axil. So the leaves, it develops from the nodes and it bears the bud near the petiole or near the axil. It will bear what? It will bear the bud. Okay. Now, what is this bud? The flowers, they are arising from the buds only, right? From the buds, the flowers are developed. So, the leaves, they are born on the nodes and what? And they bear the bud in the axil. Next is the axillary bud later develops into a branch. So later the axillary bud, when the plant grows, it develops into various branches. Okay. So the leaves originate from the shoot apical meristem. Now, in the last class, I have explained you about the meristematic cell, right? So what is this? These are the cells which have the capacity to divide actively. So in the plants, they have got meristematic cells, and there are three types of meristematic cells. One is your apical meristem, then the second one is your intercalary meristem, and the third one is your lateral meristem. So what is this shoot apical meristem? The leaves, they originate from the shoot apical meristem, that is where the meristematic activity, that is, it allows the cells to divide rapidly. So from where the roots arise? It arises from the shoot apical meristem and arranged in an acropetal order. Okay. Next is, they are the most important vegetative organ for photosynthesis. So these leaves are the most important organ. They are the most important vegetative, that is vegetative organ for your photosynthesis. Now you know what is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which the plants can prepare their own food using water, carbon dioxide, using water, right, sunlight, so they can prepare their own food. Next is what? So next, let me show you how the leaf is. So, yes, if this is the structure of a leaf, in the leaf, what is present in the leaf? The stomatas are present. If you see the leaf will be having two sides. One is your front and the back side, that is dorsal side and the ventral side. So stomatas, these are nothing but your tiny pores which are present in the leaves. So leaves has got stomatas which is present on the both side of the leaves. Okay, but the stomatas are more in the back side of the leaf. Okay, in the back side of the leaf there will be more stomatas. So what are the stomatas? The stomata are nothing but what? These are the stomata are what? These are the tiny pores. Okay, these are the tiny pores which are present in the leaves. And what is the function of the stomata? The stomata, it helps in the gaseous exchange in plants. So what it does? It helps in the gaseous exchange. Okay, exchange in plants. In case of plants. Now, this is very important for the process of respiration in plants. Okay, that is the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So, the stomata, these pores, these tiny pores, it helps in the process of respiration in plants. So, how it looks like? How is the structure of stomata? So, this looks like the gourd cells. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen the beans, the rajma bean, how it looks like? So it looks like exactly the bean shape, that is, these are known as your gourd cells. Okay, these cells of stomata are known as your gourd cells, and they are bean shape in structure. So this will be like this. Okay, the structure of stomata, this will be like this. So here, as you can see, okay, so here this is stomata is open. Okay, stomata is open now. So this gourd cell, what it does, it helps in the opening and the closing of the stomata. That means this gourd cells, it helps in the gaseous exchange in case of stomata. So stomata, what type of cells they are made up of? They are made up of parenchyma cells. Okay, so this parenchyma cell, this parenchyma cells. So stomata are made up of this. What type of cells? Parenchyma cells. Now what is this parenchyma cells? You might have studied in your lower class that in tissues there are two types of tissue, right? In permanent tissue there is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Here in simple permanent tissue you have seen about the parenchyma cells, then collenchyma and sclerenchyma, right? So the stomata are made up of this parenchyma cells which provides flexibility to the stomata, okay, to open and close. So this stomata also have got epidermis. So this epidermis is what? Epidermis is nothing but what? It is the outer covering of the plant body or the plant part, okay. So this epidermis, it protects the stomata from the damage. So stomata, where it is present? It is present in the leaves, okay. These are tiny pores. So next, let us see in the leaves, okay, how the leaves prepare their own food. Only the stomata, it helps in the gaseous exchange, right? But in the leaves, they have got a cell organelle which is responsible for the preparation of food. Now, can you name that cell organelle which is responsible for the preparation of food? Yes, you have been studying from your lower classes. What do you call that? It is your chloroplast, right? And in the leaves, they have got a green colored pigment. What do you call that? That is your chlorophyll, right? So because of this chlorophyll, the plants are able to perform the photosynthesis process. And as you know that in the cell, there are many cell organelles. So in case of plants, they have got what? They have chloroplast, right? So they have chloroplast, isn't it? So in the leaves, there is chloroplast. So this chloroplast, it helps in the process of preparation of food. It is also known as the kitchen of the plant, okay, kitchen of the plant or the cell. So it is responsible for preparation of food. Now, how this chloroplast looks like? The structure of the chloroplast is something like this. You have studied it in class 9 also, right? So the chloroplast has got two membranes. So if I draw the structure of chloroplast, it will be having two membranes. One is your outer membrane and another is your inner membrane. So let me take different color. So this one is your outer membrane. This one is your outer membrane. And this one is your inner membrane. Inner membrane. Now, what is the function of this outer membrane? This outer membrane, it helps in the exchange of molecules, okay? It helps in the transfer of molecules inside and outside the cell. And inside the inner membrane, what is present inside the inner membrane? The thylakoids are present, that is the genetic material, DNA is present, okay? Grana is present, starch is present, everything is present inside the inner membrane. So how does the inner membrane looks like? The inner membrane has got the inner membrane has got this piles of coil. This grana, it looks like the piles of coil. When you take the coil and keep one above the other, how it looks like, right? It looks like the grana, it looks like the piles of coil, and this is called as your thylakoid. So see, this is the grana. This is joined with the help of lamella. Okay. So this is like this. These are your thylakoids which are present in the inner membrane. So here there is a DNA. Okay. In case of plants, they also have DNA. Okay, they have DNA, which is the genetic material. So they also have DNA. In case of plants, it is a genetic material. So what are these? These are your thylakoids. Okay, so these are your thylakoids. So this thylakoids, it is responsible for the process of light reaction. Okay, so they have got grana. So what is the function of this grana? This grana is responsible for your light reaction. So grana is responsible for light reaction. So here you will see this dot-like structure. Okay, so these are known as your ribosomes. These are your ribosomes. So this ribosome, what is the function of ribosome? Ribosome helps in your protein synthesis. Okay, so stroma. Now again they have got stroma. Thyla, T-H-Y-double-L. Okay. So what is the function of stroma? This stroma is responsible for dark reaction. Okay. So this stroma, I'm writing here, this stroma is responsible for dark reaction. And grana is responsible for light reaction. Alright. So see, they have got DNA, they have got thylakoids, then stroma, this is a ribosome. So this all things are present in the inner membrane of the chloroplast. So this grana, it helps in light reaction, that is during the process of photosynthesis. It helps in the preparation of food, right? So it helps in photosynthesis. Okay. So it helps in photosynthesis. So next let us learn about the phloem. Okay, you have studied about xylem and phloem, right? What is this xylem and phloem? What is the function of this xylem and phloem? These are nothing but the vascular tissues, right? So xylem and phloem are your vascular tissues which are present in the plant that helps in the transportation of food and water. Now this phloem is responsible for transportation of what? Phloem is responsible for transportation of food, right? So this phloem, this is the diagram of phloem. So this is phloem, right? So what is the function of phloem? Phloem is responsible for transportation of food. So transportation of food. So from where the transportation of food takes place? The plant is preparing the food in the leaves, right? So from the leaves, the food needs to be transported to all the parts of the plants, or only the leaves require food. All the parts of the plants require food, right? So it needs to be transported. So there is a vascular tissue which is responsible for transportation of food, and it is known as your phloem. So phloem, it is transferring the food, and in the phloem it has got 4 cells. Phloem is made up of 4 elements, okay, or cells. So what are the 4 cells? That is your sieve plate, then sieve tube, then phloem parenchyma, and the companion cells. So these are the that is phloem parenchyma, companion cells, okay, sieve tube, and one more is there is your phloem fiber. Okay, so these 4 are the elements of the phloem which is responsible for the transportation of food. Now let us see, as we have learned about that, how the leaf is functioning, how the leaf is transporting the food to different parts, and what is the chloroplast, right? How is the structure of chloroplast, how the food is prepared, and what is stomata. Everything is present in the leaves, right? So what are the various parts of leaves? Let us learn about the various parts of leaves. So as you can see, this is the picture of a leaf. So this one is, that is the flat portion, as you can see right here, the flat portion. What it is called? It is called as your leaf base, right? So this is the leaf base. And this is the stem, as you can see. Now this part, this is the axil, and this portion, this is your petwheel. Okay, this is your petwheel. So which provides support to the plant during the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and this is what, these are the veins. So as you can see, this structure. This is the midrib, right? This one is the midrib of the leaf, and these are your veins. You can see these are the veins, right? So these are the veins, and what are veinlets? So what are veinlets? As you have seen, these are the veins. So like this, the leaf, right? These are your veins, isn't it? These are your veins. Now what are veinlets? So from the leaf, from the veins, again small structures, right? These are your veinlets, right? And this is what? This is the midrib. This is the midrib of your leaf, right? So this is the tip of the leaf. So this is the various part. These are the various parts of the leaf. Now let us learn about what is the function of the various parts. A typical leaf consists of three main parts. So what are the three main parts of the leaf? The three main parts are your leaf base, okay? So which one is the leaf base? So as you can see, this is the leaf base, right? So this is the leaf base, and this one is your lamina. So this portion is the lamina, that is the flat portion, flattened portion, right? So this is your lamina. This is the leaf base. So this is the leaf base from where the leaf is arising, right? And this is the stipule. So as you can see in here, this is the stipule. So from here, what happens? The axial bud arises, and here you will find the bud, axillary bud. So this is the structure of leaf. So it has the main three parts. What are the main three parts? One is your leaf base, right? So leaf base, you know which one is leaf base, right? This one is your leaf base. Second one is what this is, right? This is your petiole. And the third one is lamina. So these are the three important parts of the leaf. Remember it: leaf base, petiole, and lamina. Now the leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base. Yes, the leaf is attached obviously with the help of leaf base, right? So it is attached to the stem. It is attached to the stem with the help of what? Help of your leaf base, right? And may bear two lateral small leaf-like structures called stipules. So as you have seen that it is attached to the stem. So this is your stem, right? So it is attached to the stem and it bears the small structure. What we call that? We call that as stipule, right? So yes. So in monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheet covering the stem partially or wholly. So in case of your monocots, the leaf gets expanded partially or wholly. So in some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called the pulvinus. So in case of some of the leguminous plants, the leaf base here, it will be becoming swollen, okay? So the leaf base, it becomes swollen, and we call it as what? We call it as pulvinus. All right. So the petiole helps to hold the blade to light. So what is the function of petiole? As I have said that this petiole, it helps it supports the leaf for the process of photosynthesis. Long, thin, flexible petioles, it allows the leaf blades to flutter in wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to the leaf surface. So the function of petiole. What is the function of petiole? This is the function of petiole. That is, it helps in the process of photosynthesis, and also what it does, it helps the leaf to flutter in the wind, right? So this is the function of your petiole. And what about the lamina? So which one is the lamina? You have seen, right? So this part is your lamina, isn't it? So this is this whole part, we call it as lamina, isn't it? So what is the function of this lamina? What is the function? The lamina of the leaf blade is the green expanded part of the leaf with veins and veinlets. So the green and the expanded part of the leaf, we call it as lamina. And in the lamina, we can see this, we can see the veins and the veinlets. All right. So in the lamina, we can see the veins and the veinlets, and it is the expanded part of the leaf. Clear? So next is there is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as the midrib. So as I have shown you before also, this prominent part, right? This prominent part in the leaf, we call it as what? We call it as midrib. This part is called as midrib of the leaf, right? Next, the veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade. Now, what is the function of this veins? These veins provide rigidity. They are very tough, okay? They provide support to the leaf and acts as the channel of the transport of water, minerals and food materials. So these veins, with the help of these veins, the plants, they are transporting the water, minerals and nutrition to different parts of the plants. So they are basically the carriers. Carriers of what? Carriers of the nutrition or the food or water. So the shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of incision of lamina, it varies in different leaves. Now you know that there are two types of plants, that is your monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. So in case of them, there will be different types of leaves. And you know that there are different plants, and this different plants has got different leaves, and it varies from one plant to another. So these veins also, they vary from one leaf to another. So are you clear with the veins? So this is about veins, right? Now what is this venation? What is this venation? The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina of leaves is called your venation. So how the veins and the veinlets, they are arranged in the lamina of the leaf, that is called as your venation. It is nothing but the arrangement of veins and veinlets. Just remember that arrangement of what? Your veins and veinlets. Very simple. So that is called as your venation. And what are the various types of venation? There are two types of venation. So depending on these types of venation, we can also identify the various types of leaves. It helps us to identify the leaves also. Now, what are the two types of venation? One is your reticulate venation and another is your parallel venation. So, these are the two types of venation. So, what is this reticulate venation? So, when the veinlets forms a network, okay? So, when the veinlet forms a network, this venation is called as your reticulate venation. Now, let me show you. See, this is a leaf, right? Here you can see various networks, isn't it? So, this type of venation you will see in case of your dicot plants. So, in case of your dicot plants, so you will see this type of venation like your China rose, okay, mango. So there you will see this type of venation. That is, their veins are arranged in the form of your networks. Is that clear? So leaves of dicot plants. So next is what? Next is your parallel venation. Now what is this parallel venation? That means what? The veins must be arranged parallelly, right? So in this parallel venation, as you can see this leaf, right? So what happens here? So see this leaf, right? So the veins are arranged parallelly, all right? So they are arranged parallelly. So in case of your banana, okay, you will see this type of leaves. This type of venation, we call it as parallel venation. So what is this parallel venation? That means when the veins run parallelly to each other. That means here the veins are running parallelly to each other. So as you can see, this is the leaf. The veins will be running parallelly to each other, right? So in case of your turmeric, those leaves are your parallel. That is banana, they are your parallel venation. There you will see the parallel venation. So mainly in case of your monocotyledonous plants, we will see this type of leaves, that is monocot plants, okay? So this is all about your venation. So we have learned about your venation and we have seen that what are the two types of venation, right? So are you clear with that? And what is the significance of this venation? Are this venation necessary to the plants? Yes. Why they are necessary? What is the significance? First thing is they provide physical support to the plants. Now, what do you mean by this physical support? That means this venation, it helps the plant leaves to perform the process of photosynthesis properly. That means the leaves, with the help of venation, can face towards the sun so that it can perform the activity of photosynthesis. That is, it is providing physical support to the plant. Next thing is what? Coordination. Now, as you've seen that the veins, they are responsible for what? They're responsible for your transportation of food. They're responsible for transportation of nutrition from the leaves, right? So they are the carriers basically. So they help in the coordination in case of plants. And carry nutrition. Yes, they also help in carrying nutrition from one part of the plant to another. Next is what? Identification of leaves. So with the help of this venation, we can identify which type of plant it is. So it basically helps in identification also. So now you can identify, can you identify which type of venation it is? Yes, it is which type of venation? It is your parallel venation, right? So one minute. So it is what? It is your parallel venation. And what about this rose? In case of rose leaves, we see that is reticulate venation. Sorry. So we see reticulate venation, right? This is your parallel venation. So now let us understand what are the various types of leaves. There are various types of leaves. So leaves are mainly divided into two types. One is your simple leaves, okay? And the next one is your compound leaves. So there are basically two types of leaves. So one is your simple leaves and the another is your compound leaves. Now what do I mean by this simple leaf? As you can see in this picture, this is the leaf which is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised. So this is the picture of that is your simple leaf. That is, it has got entire lamina, right? So when its lamina is entire, right? And incision do not touch the midrib. So as you can see in this picture, this is the incision which is touching the midrib, right? Here the leaves are touching the midrib, isn't it? This is your midrib. But here in the simple leaf, what happens? The incisions, it will not touch the midrib. So this is your simple leaf. Now what about the compound leaf? Here what happens? The incisions, it will touch the midrib, right? So what is compound leaf? When the incisions of the lamina reaches up to the midrib, breaking into its number of leaflets, the leaf is called the compound leaf. Now as you can see here, the incisors, that is, it is touching the midrib, right? So it is touching the midrib. So this type of leaves are known as your compound leaves. Clear? So when the incisions of the lamina it touches the midrib, those types of leaves are known as your compound leaves. So a bud is present in the axil of the petiole in both simple and compound leaves, but not the axil of leaflets of the compound leaf. So in case of this both simple and compound leaf, the bud is present where? The bud is present here, okay? Here, that is the axil, okay? That is the axil of the leaf. So bud is present in the axil of the leaf, right? So yes, so this is all about your simple and compound leaf. Now this compound leaf is again divided into two types, all right? So this compound leaf is divided into two types. One is your pinnately compound leaves and another is your palmately compound leaves. Now, what is this pinnate compound leaves and what is this palmate compound leaves? So, as you can see here, right? So, these leaves, right? These are your pinnately compound leaves, okay? And what is this palmate leaves? That means many leaves, they are coming and joining here at a midpoint, right? That is your palmate compound leaves. So what is the definition of this pinnate compound leaf? That is, these are the leaves where the leaf of a number of leaflets are present on a common axis and the branches which represents the midrib of the leaf. So this type of leaf where you can see this, right? So this is the picture of your pinnate compound leaves where the leaf that is number of leaflets are present on a common axis. So as you can see here, it is present at a common axis, isn't it? So here the leaves are present at a common axis, isn't it? Here the leaves are present, right? And it is attached to the point and they are arranged, right? They are arranged parallelly, isn't it? So this type of leaves are known as your what? That is your pinnately compound leaves. You can see this in case of neem. So what is this palmate compound leaves then? The palmate compound leaves are the leaflets are attached to a common point that is at the tip of the petiole. So in case of this, what happens? That is they are arranged at the tip of the petiole. As you can see in this picture, right? This is the picture of a palmately compound leaves. So what happens in that? The leaves are arranged at the tip of what? At the tip of your petiole, and that is at a common point, right? So these leaves are known as your palmately compound leaves. You will see it in case of your silk cotton. Yes. So far we have learned about what we have learned about your venation, and also we have learned about the types of leaves. We have seen what is leaves, what is the function of leaf, right? And also we have learned about the compound leaf, that is the two types. One is your pinnately compound and palmately compound leaves, right? So I hope you are understanding. So next topic is your phyllotaxy. Now what do you mean by this phyllotaxy? Here in this picture you can see how beautifully the leaves are arranged, isn't it? So what you have learned in venation, you have learned that arrangement of veins and veinlets, right? Arrangement of veins and veinlets is called as your venation. But what is this phyllotaxy? It is nothing, very simple, that is arrangement of your leaves, okay? Arrangement of the leaves on the, where it is arranged, on the stem or the branch, okay? That is called as your phyllotaxy. So arrangement of the leaves on the stem or the branches is called as your phyllotaxy. So what is the importance of this phyllotaxy? Phyllotaxy is essential. It is required to the plants. Yes, it is required to the plants. Why? Because it helps to increase the plant's ability to carry on the photosynthesis by displaying the leaves towards the sunlight. So this phyllotaxy, it helps the plants to carry out the process of photosynthesis and protection of leaves against the sunlight. These are the significance of your phyllotaxy. Now, again, this phyllotaxy is divided into three types. There are three types of phyllotaxy. So, what are the three types of phyllotaxy? So, as you can see in this picture, how the leaves are arranged in the stem or the branches. So, based on that, there are three types of phyllotaxy. So, one is your what? One is your opposite phyllotaxy. So, what is this opposite phyllotaxy? So, you can see the leaves are exactly in the opposite side or not. Here the leaves are arranged in the opposite side in the branches, right? So that is your opposite phyllotaxy. Very, very simple. This is one of the easiest chapters. Now, alternate means it is arranged in alternate manner. That is, the leaves are arranged in a alternate manner in the stem or the branches. So this is your alternate phyllotaxy. So you can see, right? The leaves are arranged in the nodes in the alternate manner. Now next one is what? Next one is your whole phyllotaxy. Now what is this? So when two or more leaves are arranged together, at a point, that is called as your whole phyllotaxy. As you can see here, the two leaves, they are arranged together, right, in the opposite side. That is, when two or more leaves are arranged together in the stem or the branches, we call it as what? We call it as whole phyllotaxy. So now let us see the definition of this phyllotaxy. That is, first one is your opposite phyllotaxy. So you can write it down. What is opposite phyllotaxy? That means it is a pair of leaves develops at each node to each other. So as you have seen right here, the nodes are exactly opposite to each other, isn't it? They are opposite to each other. That means a pair of leaves develops at each node which is opposite to each other. So where you will see this opposite phyllotaxy? Yes, in case of your guava plant, you will see this opposite phyllotaxy. Now what is this alternate phyllotaxy? You have seen that the leaves are arranged in an alternate manner, right? So when one single leaf develops at each node, you know that the leaves are developing from the nodes, isn't it? It's from the nodes. So when one single leaf, that means here one leaf, right? Here one leaf, then here one leaf. So it is arranged in an alternate manner, isn't it? So when one single leaf develops from each node, that is arranged in an alternate manner, we call it as what? We call it as alternate phyllotaxy. We see it in case of rose or in case of China rose. Next is what? Next is your whole phyllotaxy. So we have seen that when two or more leaves develop to form a whole, right? That is known as your whole phyllotaxy. We can see it in case of rose also. So these are the pictures. That is, this is a guava, right? Where you will see what? Where you will see the opposite phyllotaxy. This is your China rose, where you can see this alternate phyllotaxy, right? And this is a rose. Here you will see this whole phyllotaxy. So these are the pictures of the various types of phyllotaxy. And the last topic for today is your modification of leaves. So as you have seen that the roots modify themselves, the stem modify themselves. Why they modify themselves? In order to perform various functions, isn't it? So the leaves, they also need to modify themselves. So why modify themselves? In order to store food, in order to perform the photosynthesis, or in order to survive. There are some plants, we call them as insectivorous plants, like your peach plant, Venus flytrap. These are the carnivorous plants. They feed on the insects, okay? So that is your peach plant, then Venus flytrap. These are the carnivorous plants. They are consuming the insects. Okay, so they need to modify them. So leaves are often modified to perform the functions such as photosynthesis. So some leaves are modified to perform photosynthesis, whereas in case of some they change into tendrils in order to provide support. As you can see, these are the tendrils, right? We have studied in the last class in the stem, isn't it? So they modify themselves into tendrils in order to provide what? In order to provide support to the plant, right? So they are converted into tendrils for climbing as a pea, or into spines for defense as a cacti, right? In case of cactus, you will see the small spines, right? So they are what? They are for defense, okay? So that they can protect them from the prey. Yes. So some of the leaves, what they are, the flashy leaves of onion and garlic, they will modify them in order to store the food. So some leaves, they will modify them to store food, like your garlic and the onion. All right. So in some plants such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-leaved. So the petals in the plants expand and become green and synthesize food. So in them, the petals, as you have seen, right? So the petals get expanded, okay? And they are responsible for the synthesis of food. And the leaves of certain insectivorous plants like your peach plant, Venus fly trap. So what happens in them? They also modify. Why? They modify in order to survive. This is a picture of your peach plant. So, you know what is this peach plant? They has the ability to trap the insects. They secrete some chemicals. So, this is the mouth, right? So, whenever the insects comes near to them, they secrete, okay. So, this insects, they get trapped inside this leaves, okay, and it closes the leaves, okay, and it digests or it survives on that insects. So this peach plant, they are the carnivorous plants, so they need to modify them in order to survive. So is that clear? This is all about the leaves. We have learned about the leaves, about the types of leaves, and also we have seen about the modification of leaves. So this is the picture where you can see the onion. It modifies, right? The onion and the garlic. Why they modify? In order to store food, isn't it? So as you can see, these are the fleshy leaves of the onion. They modify themselves. These fleshy leaves modify to store the food. As you can see, these are the tendrils. Why they modify? In order to climb, in order to provide what? In order to provide support, right? So these are the cactus. In the cactus, the leaves, they modify. So why they modify? In order to protect themselves from the prey, isn't it? So the leaves, they modify. So this is all about today's class. In today's class, we have completed about the topic, that is your leaves. We have understood what is the leaf, how is the structure of leaf, and how the leaf exactly prepare food, and what are the various types of leaves, isn't it? And you have also learned about that why the leaves, they modify themselves, right? So I hope you have understood all the concepts of today's topic. So if you have liked this video, do like it and also share it with your friends so that they will get benefit out of it. And don't forget to visit to our website, that is www.v-learning.in, where you will be getting all the live classes and also the PDF notes of all these topics. So I will meet you in my next class. We will be learning in detail about the flower. Okay, so see you in my next class. Be connected with Vista's learning. Till then, take care and bye bye.